90 Day. The Single Life. Sophie rejects Pedro, Kim breaks down, Gino reunites with Natalie. 90 Day. The Single Life featured Sophie Sierra pumping the brakes on her Pedro Jimeno romance, Colt Johnson talking to a Brazilian woman behind Courtney Reardon's back, Kim Menzies breaking down, and Gino Palazzolo reuniting with Natalie during the Season 5 episode that aired Monday night on TLC. The fifth season cast of 90 Day. The Single Life includes Colt, a 39-year-old from Florida, Courtney, a 34-year-old from Florida, Gino, a 56-year-old from Michigan, Kim, a 55-year-old from California, and Liz Woods, a 33-year-old from Washington. The show also stars Pedro Jimeno, a 34-year-old from Georgia, Sophie Sierra, a 26-year-old from Texas, and Vanya Gerbich, a 42-year-old from Florida. TLC teased that the new season will deliver raw emotion, unexpected twists, and the messy reality of finding love after heartbreak. Below is what happened on episode 2 of 90 Day, The Single Life's 5th season. Sophie and Pedro. Sophie was in the Dominican Republic with her friends, and Pedro said he'd do anything to win her over because he really liked her. Liz Woods was also at the outdoor party, and Pedro asked if Sophie had been talking about him. Liz revealed that Sophie thought he was sweet, respectful, and romantic, and then she asked Pedro if he was serious about her. "I am," Pedro insisted. "But do you think she really wants this?" Sophie was going through a divorce with Rob Warren at the time, and so Pedro was nervous that she needed more time to heal and date other guys after her failed marriage. Pedro admitted he'd feel like an idiot if Sophie wasn't ready for a new relationship. Liz, meanwhile, mingled and had fun with Pedro's friend Villa, who asked for Liz's number so they could talk and meet up again. Liz said she was excited to put herself out there. For Sophie's part, she said Pedro was coming on really strong, and the more he pressured her, the more she was going to hold back. Sophie told the cameras that she wanted Pedro to take things slower. But Pedro shared in a confessional, "I want a relationship with Sophie. I feel like she is a true diamond, and I know that we can be really good together. But if she's not serious about me, what is she doing in the DR with me?" The next day, Sophie, who said Pedro just needed to chill, met up with Chantel Everett's ex-husband for lunch. Pedro told Sophie that Liz had essentially warned him to be careful, and Sophie was annoyed that Liz would go behind her back and say such things. "That's breaking girl code. You don't do that. I'm really pissed," Sophie vented in a confessional. Sophie told Pedro that if he met the right woman, he should go for it and not wait around for her. "I am single, so I am allowed to do whatever," Sophie told Pedro. But Pedro said on camera that he believed he and Sophie were in an exclusive relationship at the time. Pedro joked to the cameras, "I am not a healer. I am not a doctor. I don't want Sophie to play games with me. I am not F-King interested in that." Kim Menzies. Kim had just revealed to her son Jamal that she has another son, Larry, who she put up for adoption when she was 21 years old. Kim knew this news hurt Jamal terribly, mainly because she had kept it a secret for so long. Kim said she welcomed a daughter a year after she had put her son up for adoption because, and at that point, her relationship with Jamal's father was not good, and she had to do what was best for herself at that time. Mother about her daughter, and so that's how Jamal found out he has a sister. Jamal said he always thought he was an only child, and so this was a lot for him to take in. He was clearly shocked, disappointed, and maybe even a little confused. Kim said she didn't regret her choices, but they made her sad at the same time. "I think it's one of the hardest things any birth." When Jamal was 12 years old, he overheard Kim talking to her mother about her daughter, and so that's how Jamal found out he has a sister. To me, one made sense, but to do it twice, I didn't want to FCK him up. "Did I handle it well?" "No, not at all," Kim admitted. Jamal said Larry didn't know about his sister, which was also a sad situation. Since Kim was trying to build a relationship with Larry, she knew she couldn't keep secrets from him. Kim wanted to be open and honest, but Jamal wasn't sure how well that would go. "I feel really protective of Larry because I don't want my mom to lie to him like she lied to me," Jamal explained to the cameras. "I am hoping me and my mom can get back to how we used to be, but it's going to take a lot of rebuilding and trust because right now, I just don't trust her anymore." Kim said she had to tell Larry the truth because it was killing her. She confessed she had handled the situation terribly and it was tough to live with. "All of this has affected my self-esteem and my self-worth. But I feel like now, I have to gain Jamal's trust back, and I want to build a bigger relationship with Larry, Kim explained. I want to find love, and I want to find someone who will accept me with all of this craziness that's going on. Courtney and Colt. Courtney lives with her parents in Orlando, Florida, and her parents were shown telling Courtney to keep the thermostat at 76 degrees because they were the ones paying the bills. Courtney said while she loved her retirement lifestyle, she planned to move out once she got married. However, she admitted her love life was a mess, and she may never be able to move out. Cameras then showed Colt waking up in bed. Colt said he went into every relationship with the best of intentions and truly wanted things to work out. Colt and Courtney had bonded in the hospital after Colt's leg injury at the couple's resort, and so Colt gushed about how he was lucky to have Courtney. Courtney was helping Colt with physical therapy, but he still had a long way to go. Courtney therefore called herself Colt's full-time nurse, and cameras caught her shaving Colt's chest and putting his sneakers on for him. Colt then revealed that his plumbing didn't work so well, and so he and Courtney had yet to have sex. It makes me feel insecure, like, am I your type? Courtney asked. Colt assured Courtney that he was attracted to her and his body simply hurt and he was on a lot of medication. But Courtney wondered if Colt was really into her or if he was staying at her house out of convenience because he didn't have to pay rent or any bills. Courtney also struggled to trust Colt because he cheated in past relationships. I want to do life with you. I want to figure out all of these problems with you as we grow old together, Colt told Courtney while she was playing golf with her parents. Courtney said she always wanted to get married and have kids. I feel me and Colt are aligned. We have a lot of the same goals, so I'm hoping it works. It has to work, Courtney noted. Gino Palazzolo. Gino was shown meeting up with Natalie, the woman he briefly dated after he and Jasmine Pineda separated. Gino and Natalie's romance crashed and burned when Natalie bumped into Jasmine at his relative's birthday party in Michigan and the women fought. Natalie thought Gino and Jasmine were more finished than they actually were at the time. In fact, the pair had dinner shortly before Natalie's trip. Gino was therefore pleasantly surprised that Natalie was willing to give him a second chance. Gino's goal was to reconnect with Natalie after 1 year apart, but Natalie noted how Gino had a lot of explaining to do because he had basically lied to her before. I didn't like the way it ended for us, and I'm a little bit more recovered now, but it doesn't happen right away, Gino explained to Natalie. Gino told Natalie that he just wanted to hang out with her and have fun, but Natalie wasn't sure she could trust him as anything more than a friend. Natalie said Gino would have a lot to prove to her. Courtney admitted it was difficult being a full-time caregiver, even though she felt comfortable with Colt and could be herself with him. While Courtney enjoyed a girls' day, Colt FaceTimed with his friend Mark. Mark congratulated Colt on living with Courtney for 1 month, but Colt explained that intimacy wasn't where he wanted it because Courtney was very shy and he was used to dating very spicy Brazilian women. Courtney is like watching Little House on the Prairie. It's quality, but after a little while, it gets boring, Colt confessed. Colt explained to Mark how women he had dated in the past loved to FCK and were aggressive about what they wanted and how they wanted it, whereas Courtney would say she'd do whatever he wanted and it was a tough change for him. Colt then revealed to Mark there was a Brazilian girl he was talking to before he even went to the resort. He met a woman named Diana about a year ago, and Courtney changed his plans to meet up with Diana. I still talk to Diana. It's been hard to let her go, Colt said. Colt said he had feelings for Courtney and didn't want to let her go or hurt her, but Diana clearly intrigued him. Colt said he loved Courtney and wanted to change his ways, but he was afraid she'd leave him if she learned the truth about Diana. Welcome back, 90 Day fam. Buckle up, because the Season 5 premiere of The Single Life just dropped a nuclear bomb on the franchise. We got Sophie Sierra looking for love in the DR, but finding something much worse, the ick. We've got Kim Menzies dropping a secret so big it makes Soulja Boy look like a minor footnote. And Gino, oh Gino, he's back, and he's gone from the frying pan of Jasmine right into the fire of Natalie. Today, we are breaking down every single second of these. Let's get into the tea. We start in the Dominican Republic. Sophie, Liz, and Julia. It's like the Avengers of messy breakups. Sophie says she's over Rob the Knob, but her first move? Flying to the home country of the man who broke Chantel Everett's heart, Pedro Jimeno. Now let's talk about the vibe. Pedro shows up looking like he's ready for a fitness competition, and Sophie looks like she wants to be anywhere else. The tension was so thick you couldn't cut it with one of Gino's kitchen knives. Sophie admitted to the cameras that Pedro gives her the ick. For those of you who don't know, the ick is the point of no return. Once you see a man dance like Pedro, or hear him talk about his business, and you feel that shudder, it's over. Sophie actually did something rare for this franchise. She showed self-awareness. She realized she's just jumping from one reality TV ego to another. Pedro, on the other hand, was classic Pedro. He was worried Sophie wasn't ready. No, Pedro, she's ready, just not for you. We're seeing a version of Sophie that is finally setting boundaries, and honestly, we stand a boundary-setting queen, even if it makes for awkward TV. Shift gears, guys. Keep the tissues handy. We need to talk about Kim Menzies. We thought Kim's biggest struggle was getting over the Yammy Man, but it turns out she's been carrying a burden for 30 years. The breakdown analysis. Kim sat Jamal down. And look, Jamal has been the rock of his family for seasons. When Kim started shaking, you knew this wasn't about a boyfriend. She revealed she had a son and a daughter she gave up for adoption decades ago. The raw emotion here was 100% real. This wasn't 90-day scripted drama. This was a woman facing her past. Why now? Kim says being on the single life made her realize she can't find a new partner while her closet is full of skeletons. Watching Jamal process that he has 2 biological siblings he never knew about was the most grounded, heartbreaking moment in the history of the show. And now, the man, the myth, the legend of bad hats, Gino Palazzolo. After the restraining orders and the screaming matches with Jasmine, Gino decided the best way to heal was to go back to Natalie Mordovtseva. In DC, Gino and Natalie are a match made in a very specific kind of reality TV purgatory. Natalie wants a baby and a career in Vood. Gino wants someone who won't scream at him for 24 hours straight. But Natalie is Natalie. Within 5 minutes of their reunion, the cryptic comments started. Gino is trauma dumping about Jasmine, and Natalie is looking at him like he's a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. Is this a real romance? Or is this just 2 people who are terrified of being off camera? We're analyzing the body language in the DC park scene. Gino looks terrified, and Natalie looks like she's calculating the cost of a wedding ring. That is the first massive chunk of this season's chaos. We have 8,000 more words of theories to get through, including whether Pedro is just using Sophie for a redemption arc, and if Jamal will ever forgive Kim. Drop a comment below. Are you Team Sophie for rejecting Pedro, or do you think she's being too harsh? And what do you think about Kim's secret? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for part 2 of this 10K mega deep dive. See you in the comments. Why 90-Day Fiancé's Yara Dufresne was upset after meeting Jennifer Aniston. There's a commonly suggested rule to never meet your heroes, and 90-Day Fiancé's Yara Dufresne has quite a story to share related to that. Her TLC reality show and Friends are available to stream with an HBO Max subscription, and the star's encounter with Jennifer Aniston left her wishing that was the closest connection they ever shared. Dufresne, who 90-Day fans last saw feuding with Loren and Alexei Brovarnik in her latest season, was recently a guest on No Filter with Queen Mary. During the episode, she recalled a time she met Jennifer Aniston at an unnamed award show, and how meeting a celebrity she was a huge fan of went wrong. She sit right by me because it was an award show. And I was like, hey, it was taking so much courage because I'm like, I love you. I'm here because of you, because I watch Friends and that's how I learn English, and now I'm nominated and thank you. She looked at me and she's like, makes a dismissive face. Good for you. I was like, I would never talk to celebrities anymore. Yara was gutted, or perhaps expecting a bigger response from someone who meant so much to her. I can understand being upset, but I also feel like this could be a case where the moment was much bigger for her than it was Aniston. Time and place can always factor into these situations, and in the midst of an award show, where Aniston might be presenting or busy with other obligations, it may not have been the time. When I look in her eye, it was so empty. It's just like, her energy was so disturbing. Perhaps Yara took Jennifer Aniston saying she's most like Rachel Green than any of her other characters too literally. She's obviously impacted by the negative experience based on her comments. Once again, this is why it's often said never to meet your heroes, because they might just end up disappointing you. I'm sure openly sharing this story might earn Yara Dufresne some ire from the internet. But it's nothing she isn't used to as a cast member on 90 Day Fiancé. She's had to fend off critics who judged her for speaking ill of her husband's job, to suspicions about her overall authenticity as a former reality star in her home country. All this to say, Yara probably knew she'd get people talking by calling out Jennifer Aniston. Whether it gets a response from the actress, who recently shared her big secrets for working out, remains to be seen. I'd be shocked if Aniston even gets word about the story, but if she does, I only think it benefits the 90 Day Fiancé star and probably secures her a lifelong spot on the franchise. Welcome back, 90 Day fam. Today we aren't just talking about green cards and swamp water in Louisiana. We're talking about the ultimate crossover, reality TV royalty meets Hollywood legend. Yara Zaya, our favorite Ukrainian fashionista, finally met her idol, Jennifer Aniston. But instead of the friends moment we all expected, Yara left the encounter visibly shaken, upset, and venting to her followers. Why did the Rachel Green of the world leave Yara feeling like a total outsider? Is Jennifer Aniston a mean girl, or did Yara's reality TV ego hit a brick wall? We are spending the next hour breaking down every syllable, every tear, and every Instagram story. Let's dive deep. To understand why Yara was upset, we have to understand the brand she has built. Yara doesn't see herself as a TLC star. She sees herself as a luxury influencer. She wears the Chanel, she carries the Birkin, and she lives the bougie lifestyle. For years, Yara has referenced Jennifer Aniston as the gold standard of class. She's mentioned in interviews that she models her aesthetic after that effortless Californian chic. So, when she got the invite to an event where Aniston was the guest of honor, this wasn't just a meeting, it was a coronation. In Yara's mind, this was the moment she transitioned from 90 Day to A-list. According to Yara's emotional vlog post, the meeting lasted less than 30 seconds. Here's the play-by-play. Yara approached Jennifer. She was ready with her compliment, her pitch, and her camera. But sources say, and Yara confirmed, that Jennifer was polite but cold. The upset didn't come from an insult. It came from the indifference. Jennifer Aniston didn't know who Yara was. She didn't recognize the 90 Day brand. She treated Yara like just another fan in a sea of thousands. For someone like Yara, who is used to being recognized in every airport in America, that lack of specialness felt like a slap in the face. Yara described it as feeling invisible and looked down upon because of her reality TV roots. Of course, Jovi had to chime in. He's been the ultimate hype man, claiming that Yara outshined everyone there. But the fans are split. Half the 90 Day world thinks Yara needs a reality check, while the other half thinks Jennifer Aniston should have been more welcoming to a fellow immigrant success story. We are looking at the 5,000 plus comments on Yara's post. People are calling out the privilege versus clout dynamic. It's a fascinating look at how we perceive celebrities in 2026. At the end of the day, Yara Zaya is still rich, still beautiful, and still on our screens. But the Jennifer Aniston incident was a wake-up call. You can buy the Birkin, but you can't buy the A-list respect. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are dissecting a moment that has the 90 Day Fiancé fandom in a complete tailspin. Yara Zaya, the self-proclaimed bougie queen of the franchise, finally met her ultimate idol, Jennifer Aniston. But instead of a selfie and a BFF moment, Yara left the encounter in tears. Yara took to her Instagram stories, eyelashes damp, voice shaking, to tell her followers that Jennifer was so mean and looked at her like she was nothing. But was she actually mean, or did Yara just experience her first taste of real Hollywood gatekeeping? Today, we are breaking down saga of what happened when the TLC universe collided with the Friends universe. This is the core of why Yara was so upset. To Yara, she is a celebrity. She has millions of followers, a makeup line, and a clothing brand. In the influencer economy, Yara and Jennifer Aniston are on the same playing field. But in the legacy Hollywood economy, they aren't even in the same stadium. Jennifer Aniston represents old Hollywood, where you earn your fame through decades of acting, union work, and privacy. Yara represents new fame, where your life is the product. When Jennifer Aniston refused to be on Yara's camera, she wasn't just saying no to a photo. She was reinforcing a boundary that says, "You are a spectator of my world, not a member of it." That is the ice-cold feeling Yara described. We're going to spend the next 20 minutes looking at other times reality stars tried to break into A-list circles and failed. We need to address the accusation of elitism. Yara claimed Jen looked at her like she was trash. Is that an actual look Jen gave? Or is that Yara's own insecurity about her 90-day origin story reflecting back at her? Where does Yara go from here? She's already used the upset to fuel 3 days of engagement on her social media. In a weird way, Jennifer Aniston rejecting her gave Yara more content than a selfie ever would have. Is this the start of Yara's villain era, where she turns against the Hollywood elite? Or will she continue to chase that A-list validation? We're looking at her latest business moves, her move to Florida, her luxury travel, and how this rejection might actually be the best thing that ever happened to her brand. At the end of the day, Jennifer Aniston is a person, and Yara Zaya is a personality. When they met, it wasn't a meeting of friends.